Ladies and gentlemen, HT is officially back, up and running for the 2025 college football season. And now we're going to be centered completely around college football. We have big things coming from now up until pretty much the end of the season, like in January. So there's new guests. I don't know if he's above me. I don't know if he's beside me. We'll figure that out, though. We have a new schedule. There's going to be a ton more content. There's going to be better content. Yeah, and we're excited. Dylan is still here. He's just not here currently. Busy guy. So it's okay. It's just us two for today. But I'll let Jake do the rundown, introduce himself so he's not a stranger. Most of you know him. If you don't, get to know the guy.
Welcome back to another season of college football. As you know, or as some of you will know, I am in the Discord with Cade. I am now joining the podcast, as you can see. We are 38 days away from college football, so we are about to dive right in to some top 25 polls, some bold predictions, and some futures best bets for those of you that want to do some betting. But yeah, I'm here. We are about to kill this from a betting perspective and also just give you guys a better rundown of college football in itself.
Let it be known that we suck at betting still.
Very bad. Just all I know is I own Cade.
You think we improved over one season?
No. We'll see.
The head-to-head conversation, that's going to have to wait until like week one preview episode.
Yeah, we'll wait till that.
I don't want to expose myself too early. So
yeah, no, we're good. But yeah, both ended up green in college football last year, so
that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
We're going to be just fine here.
In terms of today, we obviously don't have a ton. I don't want to unload on everybody in the first week. But it's a good intro to get some groundwork down. We have a new schedule, so it's going to be like one episode per week for like pretty much like the next month or so until about late next month, I think, is when we kind of go to 2 episodes per week, aiming for like a Monday through Wednesday schedule and then Wednesday through Friday schedule for like previews and recaps. So preview day, recap day, so on and so forth. It's more consistent that way. It brings in better content. You can talk about more. You can do a lot more with it. So without further ado, on today, pretty much we made our individual top 25 poll. We're going to discuss everything. We're going to go over our bold prediction for the season as a whole. We have some dark horses. We have some futures to go over. I think we broke down like our top 10-ish, whatever. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. I'm hyped. So you want me to break down mine first, or
let's hear your first. Let's hear your top 5.
So we're going to go with our 5, and then we're going to discuss, so that way we're not unloading all 25 and expect you to remember all 25. So it's fine. All right. So 1 through 5 is pretty standard. It's probably the same across the board for a lot of people. But 1, I think I'm going to go with Texas. Not necessarily that it's like an obvious pick. But I feel like they're one of the more, like I said, all these 5, you could make a case for like 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D. You know what I mean? It's just a very
100%.
Yeah, it's very complex in this first 5 rankings. And obviously it's preseason. Nobody even like knows what these teams look like. They've revamped. They've added new QBs. The only returning QBs on here is Drew Aller, and then you have Klubnik. That's pretty much it. And you can argue Arch for like maybe a couple plays, but I'm not going to call that. So Texas is at 1. I've got Clemson at 2. I have Ohio State at 3. Defending Natty, you kind of have to have them in the top 5, I guess, unfortunately, even though that I don't. No, never mind.
Hopefully we don't. Thank God we have a co-host that's an Ohio State fan for our disdain for them.
Yeah. Thank God all of our hosts are playoff teams or fans of a playoff team.
I know.
4, I have Penn State. As much as I kind of dislike it, I kind of have to admit it, that they're probably the most complete team in this top 5, in all honesty. Or if not, them or Clemson is probably between. And then at 5, I have Notre Dame. So Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
pretty straightforward. So
yeah. For me, same top five, just different order. I've got Ohio State at one. I'm gonna go defending champs until they lose. Or sorry, not defending. We don't say defending around here. We say reigning. They're the reigning
fair point.
champions around here. They're not defending anything. Number two, I've got Texas. Can't go wrong with Texas playoff team. Penn State at three for me. Big fan of the returning production there, so I've got them just above Clemson at number four. Kind of the same thing. Very similar teams, actually, when you think of returning production. And then at five, I also have Notre Dame. You're Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
What do you have against them, dude? Why are they 5?
I mean, you had them at five. I can't have them at five. Um, I mean, you're gonna have a freshman quarterback who hasn't played meaningful snaps. Love the running back room, obviously. Jeremiah Love. Offensive line should be great. I mean, you can't go wrong at number five. They're fighting for a playoff bye this year with the new format. So, I mean, no diss on Notre Dame.
Oh yeah, I get it. I mean, there's not really much as there is to necessarily discuss right now. There's not really that much to talk about in terms of like the top 5. I mean, all of these teams. I mean, they're playoff semifinal teams. 2 of them are the Natty runner-up and the Natty winner. I mean, there's not really much to it, honestly. It's pretty much
It's
battle of the toughest two. Pretty
we'll
much.
have some discussing in the next five, I think.
I mean, that's is when it starts. You know what I mean? Like from like 6 through the rest is when we kind of bang. So
Yeah.
for those of you who don't know by now or even ever, and the server, this guy's like my father apparently in the terms of sports betting, and it kind of makes me mad. Kind of irks me. Kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Whoops.
I wanted to talk about that another time, but I mean, it's going to be happening. So next thing you know, I mean, if like we're screaming at each other, it's just like it's out of love. It's out of love.
Very much. Very
Okay.
much.
So
let's hear your 6 through 10.
6 through 10 is a little different. So at 6, I've got Brian Kelly and LSU. As much as I hate Brian Kelly, I love this offense this year. Nuss is definitely going to have his Heisman candidate year, Heisman push. I love what he's about. Very, 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 very athletic QB. At 7, I have Georgia. At this point, I don't even agree with my own pick at 7 here for Georgia, to be honest with you. After what we saw in that playoff game with Gunner, and pretty much that team is what this team is going to be this year, essentially. I don't know. I'm not as in as I thought I was, I think. But then again, Kirby Smart coach team. They're young. I'm not expecting a ton, but like I said, it's Kirby Smart. You don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
At 8, I have Oregon, another electrifying offense. Dante Moore steps in this time. Apparently, this dude's a dog in college football 26, but I don't know how he is on an actual field.
Somebody got cooked by Dante Moore, was what I'm hearing.
I don't know who that would have been, but yeah, apparently. Their defense, I think, is going to be the one that leaves a lot of question marks, as well as their wide receiver room. I know they lost Ferguson. I know they lost Tez. There's going to be some
lost Evan Stewart.
Yeah, Evan Stewart is probably the biggest one in there. There's a lot of question marks on the offense, just as much as there is the defense. But again, you could say the same thing about Dan Lanning. Dan Lanning's a dog of a coach. I love Dan Lanning. I've always been a Lanning fan. But like I said, you just don't know what you're going to get. 9 and 10 is when we kind of get scrappy. And teams that I'm just like, this is going over dark horses are a little bit early, I guess, in a way. At 9, I have South Carolina. There was a lot of arguments last year that they were left out of the college football playoff. Stop shaking your head. I love for the people who don't watch recordings, they're just going to hear the audio cues of stuff. So
That's how it goes. I'll let you explain because I'll get to that later.
I don't know if I want to explain now,
No,
but
go ahead. South Carolina number 9. Let's go.
for those you, he's also an SEC guy. I'm a Midwestern guy, so I'm not involved as much in the SEC as much as Mr. Ball here. So
Mr.
anyway,
Ball.
yeah, Sellers, Rocket Sanders. I mean, there's not really much that you can really.
Rocket ain't there no more.
No, that's what I mean. It's just like you don't have probably as much talent as you think you would have. Um, but mainly, this is a seller's year. Are we? Like I said, we're going to talk about this later. Are we a year early? Is this the year? We don't know. Obviously,
Yeah.
they had a great season last season. They in the fall, I know they step up a ton, but I mean, like
October.
I said, it all this year. It's all going to matter about the early stages because they have a decent gauntlet at the start, and then obviously in the fall they'll continue that. At number 10, I have Illinois. I liked the way that they were last year as well. Not necessarily playoff caliber, um, but I guess, like I said, Luke Altmaier, I think he's a great QB. There's a lot of questions regarding their offense in terms of wide receiver capability, running capability, offensive line issues and concerns there. Um, but Brett and their defense, I like their defense a lot. They have like a Northwestern style defense, but with a much better offense in a way. Like I've obviously, if you watch Northwestern, like they're all about Iowa, Northwestern. You see all these Big Ten teams, and they just have very, very, very good defense, but their offense is just completely dead. It's gone. In this case, Illinois, they have a little bit of a good offense, but their defense, in my opinion, is probably just as good, if not a little bit better, which separates them the most, in my opinion. Um,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
that somehow they break a top 10 in me. So I don't know, but yeah,
Okay. So I've got Oregon at 6. You you touched on most of Oregon. I would say the only other thing, heavy offensive line portal this year, which we don't love to see. You got 3 new starters on the offensive line from the portal. Don't love that, but I think Dante Moore could be really good in this offense. I mean, they are an explosive offense. We've seen that. They're going to be able to run the ball. I know they lost James, but they've got a guy right behind him. So I think they're going to be really good again this year. We've got Alabama at 7. Um, I'm high on Alabama. I think DeBoer year 2. Um, we've got a quarterback now that he probably trusts a little bit more than Milrow. I think that was a problem with inconsistencies with him. So that's where I have Alabama. I've got Georgia at 8, so it's still high on Georgia. You can't not be with Kirby. That defense is just schematically is going to be good. The only questions I have is they're young. Offensively, are they going to be able to run the ball this year? Is the offensive line any better? And then how good will the defense be with it being so young? I'm I've got LSU at 9, so a little less high on them, but you can't go wrong with a returning QB, senior, been in the program. Um, I don't love Brian Kelly, but he's
nobody
still a
does,
top he's still a top tier coach in college football.
fortunately.
He knows how to win games. I think the defense will be better. They tried to improve the secondary again this year through the transfer portal. So I think they're going to be better there. I think the biggest question will be is just can they run the ball, and then how do they replace 2 tackles going to the NFL? So we'll see about that. And then at 10, I have a different Big Ten team, and that is Michigan.
Whew.
I'm high. We are high. Not so much because of the talent level in Michigan right now. I do think Bryce Underwood's going to be. There's a car. I do think Bryce Underwood's going to be good. I don't know if he's going to start week 1. My guess would be he does, but it's a year 1 quarterback, so we're going to have some lumps there. It's more of the schedule to me, which will break down later with conference breakdowns in the next couple episodes. I just really love the schedule, and I really like. I mean, it's a Sharon Moore defense. It's gonna be good. The question is, can Bryce Underwood bring a level of explosiveness we haven't seen to Michigan since JJ McCarthy? Which even then, I'd argue it wasn't that explosive, just a good running game.
That's what I
So
said. Like JJ wasn't even like that great of a QB, but
no, he was a good
he was a very good game manager though.
great game manager, and maybe that's what they need more than a guy who can't even complete a pass. So
That's fair. That's a fair
I
point.
guess just the thing would be this is the best QB they've had since Denard Robinson,
That's probably the best comparison that you're going to get. I mean,
which was
someone
2013.
someone as mobile as him. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's
So,
about yeah.
and maybe a year early on Michigan. Definitely could be, but I like the town. I like the defense combined with a potentially explosive quarterback. So that's my top 10. Um, I'll get to South Carolina later.
Clearly.
Um, I do have some thoughts about South Carolina, but I'll get to those when I get to them. And then the only other different one we had was Illinois, who I'm higher on as well. I'll have them in the next the next five. So I like Bielema. He's a good coach. I question Altmaier. Too turnover worthy, too many turnover worthy plays that didn't lead to interceptions or fumbles or anything like that. So if he can clean that up and be more explosive, I just worry about losing your top wide receiver. It's just who's going to step up there would be my biggest question. So, but I do like the defense and I like Bielema. Um, so I'll send it back to you for 11 through 15.
I mean, I like to. I mean, I think I have. Do I have Michigan in here? I don't.
You have Michigan in your top 25. It's crazy.
That's right. I forgot about that. I mean, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
We're
you do.
good.
Yeah, yeah, you do. Yeah,
Okay, I was gonna
they're
say.
all
I was
right.
like, I don't. I was like, hold on.
Mhm. Yeah, you do.
Um,
No, we're good.
I mean, yeah, it's hard to tell if we're a year early or not because I mean, I will say one thing that I am excited. If anything, if we are a year early, the development and Bryce and the offense as a whole is going to be so fun in the Big Ten to watch.
Yeah, I think
I
you're going to see
can't stress
flashes
that
of
enough.
him like you saw Sellers last year.
Pretty
Like I
much,
think
like
that's what we could see there.
yeah, it's basically all. Yeah, it's the best thing you could say.
Yeah,
Bryce's build
agree.
is so
I
it's
mean,
I can't even explain it. Like it doesn't even look like a quarterback.
5-star for a reason.
He looks like JJ. He looks like Jeremiah Smith.
That's fair.
That's
That's
like that's.
yeah, no, don't disagree there.
All right, let's see here. 11 through 15. I think we can. I think we're kind of in the same ballpark in a way. Some of them, I guess. At 11, I
Couple.
have Florida. This is one of the teams that I'm probably one of the most high on in the country by far. Um, and it starts with GJ Lagway, 1,000%. This dude is so capable of changing a game at the snap of a finger or literally just one play at a time. And like we've seen it last year whenever Napier was kind of filling him in places and then he would make some crazy electrifying play. I remember that Ole Miss game and just like all game long we were like, "Oh my god, we get to see this all year next year." And everybody was like just losing their heads over the fact that this dude just like shredded one of the better SEC defenses in the country at the time. It was just, yeah, it was an insane game, and that was like the moment. That was like the DJ Lagway welcome to college football like game in a way.
Yes. Yeah, hit a
At
couple of
12,
them.
yeah, at 12, I do have Michigan. Like I said, you kind of hit on them the most. I I don't really have much else other than the fact that I don't want to say I'm high on them. I think they compete a lot more. I think they're a lot better than 7-5. I'll tell you that much. Schedule is a little bit iffy. I mean, with a quarterback as young as Bryce, you really don't know until you see him in the first couple of games. I know they open up. I think who is it? Like Fresno.
Yeah, it's Fresno.
I think it's a night game too, and I mean it's just like he's going to get a really good welcome home party there, and then it's just like after that, I don't. I'm looking at the
Oh
schedule.
no, sorry, New Mexico.
Okay.
Is a
Um,
night game though.
either way, though, yeah. Same story. It's just you don't really know what you're going to get until you hit week 1 of conference play, and then it's like, all right, masks on. Like what can this guy do? So it's going to be interesting, and I'm excited. Honestly, I'm not like the biggest Michigan fan. I'm just like a football fan though. And Bryce, I know I've seen Bryce in high school. He's one of the most competitive quarterbacks that we've probably seen in high school in a very long time. I thought he was an LSU lock for the longest time, and then yeah, next thing you know, here he is in Ann Arbor, new kid on the block. So definitely. Oh, I can't imagine the bag. I cannot imagine the bag. It's unreal.
Over 7, I've heard.
Oh yeah, it's up there,
Mil for people listening.
right? 13. I'm not happy about it, but I do have Alabama. As much as I wasn't really in on this team at all last year, now that DeBoer's kind of eased into his role, he's got a QB that's definitely more his style. The offense is going to be definitely more his style now.
I mean, the wide receivers out wide, dude.
Yeah, it's just when you have Bernard out there, you have Williams out there. It's just going to be you literally have three. You pretty much have 3 ones at your face, and and my point of view, it pretty much all falls back on Ty Simpson at that point. Obviously, you hit on the defense; they're very young, but at the same time, they're very young and incredibly talented. Uh, so they're one of the better rated defenses at the start of the season this year in terms of rankings. Not necessarily in terms of like returning production, but it's just like a projections and stuff like that. They are the expectation is extremely high this year because 7 or whatever it was last year was 8-4, 9-3.
9-3.
When you look at Alabama in the last like 10 years, when has that ever
They
been the standard? You know what I
they
mean?
haven't lost 3 games since Saban's second year,
It's just not it. And so I
something like
and
that.
they know that. They know that now. So I mean, I'm expecting a definite bounce back year, but it's definitely going to depend on what Simpson can do with the weapons at hand, and if they can run the ball well. I know they lost a couple. They lost a ton on defense, obviously, but that's I don't want to say it's the biggest question mark here because I don't really think it is. So 14, I put Kansas State. I think they're one of the better Big 12 contenders this year. I say contender, but the winner, like we were talking about the other day, I think it's been like odds have been 10-1 the last like 4 or 3 years, something like that. But Avery Johnson is a very talented QB, young and talented. Eased into his role as well last year. It'll be exciting to see what he does. At 15, I have Oklahoma. Oklahoma, not really much else to say there as well. I know losing Arnold, which isn't really even the biggest loss in the world. I'm not really the biggest Arnold guy in the world, even though that I have Auburn in my next 5 as well. But I think Oklahoma, best thing that Oklahoma could have done was probably getting rid of him, or not getting rid of him, but finding someone else in order to incorporate that offense.
They got rid of him.
I mean, in a way,
That's that was a good. No, it's a good. They
in a
did
way,
ask him to leave.
pretty much. So I mean, it's just better off that way. Yeah, I mean, there's like I said, those 14 and 15. You could argue that those are pretty much some big question marks there, but it'll be a fun year, a better year in Norman, I think, and personally. So
Um, yeah, I like I like the 15. I'm lower on Oklahoma, um, which I'll get to that in a little bit. But I starting with my 11, we'll go. I've got Miami. I'm gonna be pretty high on Miami this year. I know we've got a lot of questions about the offense and if it can replicate what it did last year. I can tell you right now, it will not. It is going to look a lot different this year. If you think about a Mario Cristobal team, they don't want to do what they did last year. They don't want to throw the ball a ton. They don't want to, be throwing the ball 40 to 50 times a game. I think we're looking at more of like how Carson Beck looked 2 years ago when he had Bowers, McConkey, and the elite running game. I think we're looking more of that with Miami. I think you're going to get a more ground and pound heavy team. I think the defense is going to be improved. So it's going to depend just how low the offense goes this year. Like if they're top 25 good, then you could still see a really good Miami team. If it falls off the face of a cliff, then they'll be dead. But at 12, I have Florida. Same things you've said. DJ Lagway's awesome. Uh, Coming out party at LSU against Georgia before he gets hurt. Ole Miss, like dude's a beast. They're gonna be able to run the ball. Napier's a good coach. Defense should be really good. Ole Miss, I have at 13. I'm high on Ole Miss as well. It looks like. Um,
I do like that a lot. I didn't even see that. That's funny.
um, I think Austin Simmons is gonna be really good. I think, especially with Lane Kiffin. I mean, Lane Kiffin's turned QB after QB after QB. I just kind of expected at this point. I am a little worried about everything they've lost. Wide receiver, you lose your top two targets. Defensively, they lost a ton. So I think there's a lot of drop off, but I also like they schedule nobody in out of conference. So that's 4 wins. And then you can go 500 in the SEC or 8-4. That can get you top 15 at this point. I have Illinois at 14. Same things that you've said. Not going to go over that a ton. And then at 15, Kansas State. Love their coach. Think Chris Kleiman's great. Avery Johnson, with all the up and downs, you hope to see more ups this year, but their defense is going to be good. And it's just a question if that offense can be more consistent on a regular basis. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's not really else um, much to the bottom half of mine, I guess. Um, Kind of like the same from last year in a way, I guess. Besides the 21 through 25, I guess, but 16 through 20 is pretty standard, I would think. That's probably good. This is probably going to be, if not pretty close to the preseason top 25 rankings, if those aren't out yet. I don't think they are.
no, not till, I want to say 2 weeks,
I think it's
maybe
like a couple
three.
weeks before. Yeah, that was a couple weeks before week one or something like that. But um, 16, I do have Auburn. Like I said before, talking about Oklahoma, I'm not necessarily an Arnold guy, but I do think Auburn's get back year is this year in a
He's
way.
got to be better, right?
It's like I don't like I said, I want to tread lightly when I say that because when I say get back here, I don't mean like contending for SEC play.
Yeah.
In all seriousness, I don't think this team can compete for an SEC championship at all with this team. However, with the schedule that they have at hand, it is possible that they kind of raise some eyebrows and kind of people start going, okay, wait a minute. You know
I
what I mean?
mean, yeah. And you
These
can
guys,
argue
these guys
they
may
should
have
have been,
gotten orange colored face mask last year, but they might be still be okay. It's just like
and they should have been 8-4 last year if you don't turn the ball over 6 times a game.
it was unreal. Like last year was just like one of the most like I don't even know. Like it was a bad Auburn team.
I mean, if you don't turn the ball over, like you win 8, 9 games.
And it's sad.
So
Jordan Hare doesn't deserve that.
no, I think I agree with you. I don't have him in my top 25. That's a mistake by me, but I agree. I think this is a get back year for them for sure.
Like, it's just an improvement. I
Yeah.
don't I like I say get back here, but like I know that kind of makes it seem like a little bit more than it is. I just don't think that they're enough just yet. Hopefully, I'm wrong because when like I think in my opinion, college football is at its best when Auburn is like just electrifying the league and it's insane. Because Jordan Hare, like no matter what that record is, obviously he's even seen it last year in the night games. I forget who they play one of the year. Was it A&M? I think they when they beat A&M.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when they stuck
That
close
night
with
game.
Georgia
Yeah,
a couple
yeah.
years ago too. Yeah. The
It's
Alabama
just
game last not like 2 years ago.
2 years ago. It's like I said, it's like it's one of the best environments in football, and
Yep.
like the team is
Sure.
just kind of like kind of wasting it in a way. Like you said, like
Yeah.
6 turnovers a game, like that is never like anything. That's
I
just
mean,
not
they beat Oklahoma if you don't turn the ball over, like, and you could
with
say that
ease.
about the Cal game.
With
Same thing.
ease, it's
Yeah.
insane.
Agreed. Agree.
17, I have A&M. This one's also kind of one of the bigger question marks in the SEC as well. Marcel, it starts with Marcel Reed. I don't necessarily think he's astonishing QB. I don't think he's even necessarily light years better than. I'm drawing a brain fart on what's his face before.
Conor Wegman?
Yes, I don't know why I was drawing blank on that one. Um, I don't necessarily think this team. I think this is like a lateral movement, in my opinion. They did lose some defensive key guys there. Obviously, losing Stewart was one of their biggest losses, if
Hey,
not
he may be coming back.
100% their biggest loss. What?
He may be coming back.
I don't even want to talk. I don't even know how true that is. I don't even know if
I
that's a
don't.
possibility. I
I
think that
haven't
might
looked into
be.
the rule book on that one.
Is it real?
I don't know. I haven't looked into the rule book. I'd have to.
Oh,
I'd have to dive into some rules for
I
that.
was gonna say that's just unreal, but
But
I don't know.
anyway, sorry.
It's just, is Elko really the answer? Is he not? I don't know if we find that out necessarily this year, because the second half of A&M season last year is pretty much what this is going to be in a way. I don't think they're anything special. But similar to Jordan Hare, I mean, Kyle Field is amazing and one of the best atmospheres that you can have in college football. But in a game where you have Texas traveling at night and there's a chance to make some noise in the college football playoff bracket, and then they just drop the ball completely. And it was just very disappointing because not only like was I on A&M that game, but I mean, it's just like, that's why they have those games. It's just like a scheduled loss, and then I don't know, they go out and do that. It was just a disappointing finish to their season. At 18, I have Arizona State. I do think that I kind of have this team a little bit too low, despite Jordan Tyson's departure. But I never thought I'd be as in on Sam Levitt as I am this year. I know they lost a crap ton last year. Obviously, they're losing Scat. They lost Tyson. There's some defensive departures in there that are some key guys in terms of leadership. They're going to have to kind of regroup. I don't think Levitt necessarily changes. I just think their scheme in terms of how they use these weapons on the outside changed, though, because Tyson was obviously he kind of alternated in between the slot on that outside guy who was very shifty but could also be a deep ball threat at times, and then him being unhealthy kind of gave us a preview in a way, but obviously that just opened up more for Scat to kind of do whatever he does. So it's kind of, I don't want to say it's a question mark, but I kind of say it's another lateral movement. I don't think they win the Big 12. I don't think they shock the world again and, projected last in the Big 12 and then make a run to the playoff. No. But I think they're a solid 8-win team that can still compete and give some teams a run for their money, especially in that conference as tough as the Big 12 is this year. It's going to be a lot tougher. So they kind of they'll need to strap down. 19 and 20. Shut up.
Yeah.
If it's not known by now, I'll let you say it. I'm not going to say it.
What? That I'm a Tennessee fan?
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
19. I have Tennessee. This team, you're either in or you're not on it. That's basically it. You're not going to be 1 foot in. You're not going to be 1 foot out. You're either literally straight down Broadway, right, with this one, or you are way in left field. And it's just, there's no in between. Joey Aguilar is probably the biggest addition to this one. Like I said, there's a massive, 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 massive drama that happened with this offseason, and in the edition specifically.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Some dude just lost his McDonald's bag worth of money, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah, no.
I don't know, man. I said you're gonna do a better job of breaking that one down than I am, but I think the defense is a very talented defense. Is one of the better Heupel defenses that we've seen last year specifically.
Oh yeah.
In terms of the offense, though, especially weapons on the outside. You're gonna have to stay healthy is the main thing in my opinion. That's gonna be the biggest concern for this team, especially on the outside. Making sure that Joey has his weapons when he needs them in game time decisions and stuff like that.
Agreed.
Because if nobody's stepping up, like, it could be bad. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like, it gets night and day, quite
Yeah.
literally. And then similar to you on Miami, I just have them at 20. I don't. I mean, I do think that they have significant regression this year, um, but I don't necessarily think that they're going to stock. I don't think their stock's going to completely die. I don't think
Yeah.
it's make or break year for Cristobal. I don't think he's fired or anything like that by any
No.
means. If they win like 9 games, I think that's a very good year. Um, if they win 8 games, I think it's a decently solid year. But I mean, I don't like it's just in between there is kind of where I stand. I don't necessarily think they're touching 10 personally. There's a possibility because I know they're a definite ACC threat this year as well. But like I said, anytime you have a veteran at QB, even though he's a transfer, I mean, Carson Beck is still Carson Beck. It's just a matter of, like you were saying, the weapons. If they can run the ball, if they can get the ball to their playmakers, I don't think it's going to be a 2018 Miami defense, but I think they're going to be solid still. It's
Yep.
just pretty much what it boils down to.
Agreed. Um, yeah, I have no complaints there. Um,
Oh,
at, at so my 16 is South Carolina. We've gotten to Beamer Bowl. Um, I just think we're a year early. I like Sellers, but I question how well he can carry this team because you lose Rocket Sanders as much as he was hurt a lot last year. Like, I just don't know who you're relying on to run the ball now. I don't know who you're throwing the ball to. Like, I have no idea. I know you have Harper, but then after that, like, it's just a bunch of unknown.
he was very unhealthy last year as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he was unhealthy. Offensive line, there's questions there, and then defensively, the pass rush is going to be awesome. Um, that they're going to be able to get after the quarterback. I think the defense is going to be really good. Minus, it just depends on if they can cover anybody because last year they could not. So, and
correct.
then good. Beamer's a good coach. He's going to win you a game. He's going to go for it on 4th and 5 from his own 40 on a fake punt, and he's going to get the first down. You're going to go score, and you're going to win. You probably win 1 or 2 games because of him. So I do think South Carolina's good. I just question how good at this point. Funnily enough, 17, 18, 19 for us are the same. I have Texas A&M at 17.
That's funny.
Yeah, I have 17 at A&M. I think you touched on it pretty well. 18 Arizona State. The only thing I like Arizona State, I love Dillingham. My question is just, um, they went like I think it was 7-2, 6-2 or 7-2 in one score games. If that goes back to the mean of 4-5, 5-4,
Right.
how much better are they?
They got some
And
wins.
then
So yeah.
19, I do have Tennessee. I'm gonna go over them later a little bit more, but I agree with you. Offense is a question. Defense should be pretty good. So we'll dive deeper into that later. And then 20, I have Oklahoma. Right now on a neutral field, I would have Tennessee over Oklahoma, not just being biased, just in general. But I do like Mateer. I like the OC hire. I just don't trust that they're going to be able to run the ball. Um, don't love the offensive line still.
I do think they're better though. I think they're
I
a
think
lot.
they're better. I think they're better. I think the offense is going to be a lot better, which is what they need. I think the defense is going to be solid. It's going to be great, probably top 15, 20. I mean, with Brent Venables, it's just going to be top 20. So if they can get the offense to, if they could get the offense top 30, this team could make some noise. It's just the schedule also is diabolical.
Not friendly at
Like,
all. And
I think it's the second hardest schedule in the country behind Florida. So maybe
which
Arkansas is a little harder. It's close.
I mean, I'm hoping that the fact that they like added Mateer in as a veteran guy, I'm hoping that he kind of like eases in. Not
Yeah.
sure he comes in so shaky, but then again, completely different conference. Like you're going from Pac. I don't even want to call it like Pac-2 atmosphere, and technically an independent at that point. to playing in freaking I don't even know the road schedule this year, but I
I
don't
mean, they
even
go to Neyland.
I knew that because I knew they had the home and home.
They go to Neyland. They go to here. I can tell you.
Just a matter of
Um,
like I don't think that he gets. I don't want to say that he's not going to get rattled because I think it's going to be very different. But like
you're
I said, it's just it's going to be bad.
you're at South Carolina,
Yeesh.
at Neyland, at Bryant Denny. But those are the three, really.
If
Wait,
those are the three hardest, then I mean, then yeah, they can.
those are their three away games. They go
They
to at Temple. Don't really understand that one, but
because like what possibility is there of them going at least like 1-3 in that game? More than likely, the win being probably at South Carolina from some dumb decision on Shane.
them going, yeah. And I mean, you have that, and then you still have,
Because I don't think they win in Neyland by any means. I don't think they win at Bryant Denny.
yeah, just I wouldn't. I'm not picking them to do it. No, I mean, I think it comes down to we'll know early. That Michigan game
That's true.
at home, we'll know early.
That's true. That's true.
So yeah, that's my top 20.
Let me see. So last five, which I think we're complete. I mean, are we polar opposites in a way?
We're
Not
close.
quite. I mean, a little bit. We're not too far off.
Yeah, we're close.
All right.
We're close. We're close-ish.
21. And we talked about this for this was really funny. So like some random like I don't even it was probably like a Tuesday, like a month ago. And I get a text on my phone. I'm in the middle of my workday, and he's like, Georgia Tech win total. And I was just like busy as ever. It's busy seeing the summer. I look at my phone, my Georgia Tech win total, and I'm like, yeah, whatever. No, Haynes King, blah blah blah. I don't like no what who cares? Big deal, whatever. And I'm like, oh my god, Haynes and Haynes are they're both back.
Haynes and
I
Haynes.
just went into like an hour and a half tangent of breaking down this entire team and just being like, oh my god, this is like an ACC contending team,
Yep.
and it's true. And maybe 21 is a little bit generous. It might not be. We might, like I said, we might be kind of overreacting a little bit.
They're not in my top 25, but
I
I do
get
love them.
that, but I just this offense could be so fun in so many ways. And quite
Agreed.
frankly, we were talking about the schedule. It falls in their favor completely. I think they're going to be. I don't even want to say better, but I do think they're kind of better in terms of record. They will be better, but I mean they're going to be about the same in terms of talent, because you're not playing Notre Dame in Atlanta anymore. You're not. I mean, you get really good draws at home, very good, probably the best case scenario. Uh, and then yeah, I mean, obviously the defense is probably. I don't really think they're going to be anything different. I don't think they're going to be worse. I don't think they're going to be astonishing. It's probably just the same. But the offense, I think the offense does a ton better, strictly because of chemistry and development of what they had together last year. There wasn't that many departures. They did lose a key. I think it was a key guy on the outside on the wide receiver.
Eric Singleton.
Yes. Okay. So I mean, outside of that, yeah, it's just if that's your biggest loss, I would be on all fours, pray, like just like thanking God. You know what I mean? Because like it
Oh
could have been
yeah.
a lot worse. You could have
Yeah.
lost Jamal Haynes to the portal or the draft. Better yet, you could have
Yeah.
lost Haynes King to the portal again or the draft.
Hmm.
And now you get both, probably arguably one of the best QB running back duos in the country.
Close. Yeah.
Possible threat. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Possible threat. 2022.
2022.
What
Oh,
the heck am I
hello.
talking about? Can we cut that? No, I'm not going to cut that. ECU.
Dub.
I have one word for this man, and that is Josh Huber.
That's two words.
One name. Sorry.
Okay. Like it.
What was it, like
Respect
the
it.
Charles Barkley clip?
Yes. Yeah.
2 words,
Yeah.
4 letters, or something.
No, he was like, I've got three words for you. And he says like five. And Kenny goes, but that's 5 words. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna act like I did a crazy breakdown on TCU to make them in my top 25. I do know Josh Hoover though. Josh Hoover is a very mellow background kind of QB that not a lot of people kind of know a ton about yet. But I think this year, I think they kind of make some noise. Um, I think the defense definitely steps up from last year. Last year was kind of I don't want to say abysmal, but it was pretty rough. Turnovers were an issue last year as well. They really couldn't run the ball that well. Overall, the TCU team as a whole was kind of just, I don't want to say abysmal, but it was just not as good as they usually have been. They've been mediocre at best the last like few years, besides their runner-up natty year. That was kind of like a miracle worker in a way. But it's just like since then, you know what I mean? There's not really much to it. 23, I think it's pretty straightforward. I have SMU, Kevin Jennings. Um, thank God Preston Stone is gone.
Northwestern, baby.
I think I think the offense kind of eases in a little bit more with Kevin Jennings as getting a full season rather than SMU kind of playing their first two games of last year. I know they kind of got BYU early in the year last year, and then they kind of dropped the ball on that one, probably because of Preston Stone. Like, I don't think that happens this year. I think they kind of, I obviously getting Jennings for a full season, I think helps a ton. The development helped a whole lot. Any team with this much offensive talent and power, they're going to be putting up some points like they have been in the American, and then they're obviously in their debut season, the ACC. What they did in their debut season, I am shocked by. I think it was fantastic.
Didn't lose a regular season ACC game.
That's what it's just. And then you lose the conference championship on a game-winning field goal to
They were down double digits in
a
the
playoff.
whole game.
Yeah, yeah. That was practically a road game as well, in a way.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just I was impressed, and I like this SMU team. I don't maybe they might be like a playoff team again this year. Like I said, that's kind of where the question marks kind of bring in a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, but like I said, I think it's kind of like a lateral movement. I think they have another good year, and it's kind of going to rely on the offensive again putting up the numbers that they usually do.
Yeah.
24, I have the team that I'm probably the most high on in the Big 12, second most team. It's funny how I kind of have those flip flopped.
That is actually funny.
Yeah, it doesn't make quite much sense, does it? Texas Tech was at 24 for me. I think they were the second most spending team in NIL this year, I think is what it was. If I read that correctly, I think.
Yeah.
I
It
think so.
was top. It was top. I know it was top 10. I don't know that exact number.
But yeah, anyways, I mean, obviously they had some drama with Micah Hudson, and they got him back somehow. Money.
A lot of it.
There's not really else much to the Texas Tech team besides some insanely lucky returning production on defense. The defense is probably going to be the best part about this team, in my opinion, which is very weird for a Big 12 team because normally you're not hearing that hardly ever. But in this case,
You're hearing it from the teams that go 7-6.
right, right. I do think that they're going to be a ton better. I think they make a lot of noise. Not necessarily playoff contending, but Big 12 contending, yes. And obviously, if you're contending for the Big 12, at that point, you kind of have to make them a playoff contender. I don't really think they're going to be the like a top 10 playoff team, but
Yeah.
their offense will be better. Their defense will astonishingly be better, and then that kind of brings me up to 25, which I'm not proud of. In all honesty, I really don't like their coach. I think
You don't like him?
I haven't liked him.
Really? You don't like Aranda?
He's been dead. They've been dead.
Whoa. I mean, 2 years ago, yeah. They made the Big 12 championship game his second year.
which is okay. I get it. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm not saying that you should like him. I'm surprised you don't.
I don't know.
He seems like your type of guy.
Maybe because he's bald.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That is
I don't know. I really
Continue.
don't know.
Continue. I'm sorry.
I know. I wish I could, but it's just
Okay. No, we're not continuing anymore. Baylor's 25.
that's it.
Okay. Baylor's 25. We'll get we'll get to them later too.
Yeah, that's fine.
Um I actually, yeah, I like the TCU one for sure. I'm actually surprised I didn't have them in my top 25. So I've got SMU at 21. Same things you said. 22 I have Missouri. I'm high on them this year. I like the schedule. If their transfers on offense can work out behind Brady Cook and Luther Burden, I think the offense could be almost as good as it was last year, and I think they'll be carried by defense. But it's a schedule thing for me. I have Indiana at 23. Um, do not expect them to go 11-1 again. Don't expect them to go 10-2. I think there's a chance they go 9-3, but I'd say 8-4. I just think that brings you around top 25. I think Signetti's a good coach. I'm not high on Mendoza, but I think he's serviceable enough. And then their defense, they're going to be carried by defense again. It'll be almost as good as it was last year, if not better. Um, I've got Texas Tech at 24. You outlined them. Um, I'm I'm there on them. I'm not like
That's
I'm middle.
that's fair.
I'm not super high, but I'm not low on them. And then I've got 25 Louisville. Um,
I'll put my hand up for that one. I think I missed out on them because I kind of forgot about
it's
renditions, but
the 21 to 25 is so hard. You've got 35 teams that you could put in here. So um, I like the addition of Miller Moss if you can make it about his weapons more than about him. Their running back is awesome. First
he's gonna be phenomenal.
first ever Louisville running back to go over 1,000 yards in his freshman season. So he's gonna be pretty good. Isaac Brown, right?
Think yep.
So he's gonna be good. I think the weapons that they added through the transfer portal will be good. The defense is kind of scary, so they couldn't stop the pass at all. We're gonna see if they can do that this year. And the schedule's kind of tough, so I have them around 25.
They do get some good draws at home as well though this year.
They do, and they have 3 Friday night games this year.
It must be an ACC thing. It's new. I don't really
I
know, but
don't know, but
I did
yeah,
see that too. It was kind of weird.
it is weird. There you go. Top
That's
25 polls.
pretty much the top. Yeah, I was gonna say that's as straightforward as it gets. I mean, they're not like I don't want to say they're night and day different, but I mean, there's some that we agree on. Obviously, there's some that we don't. But that's why given the discussion, so it's okay.
Yep.
I know we have contenders and dark horses next. Pretty much a lot of these are in our top 25, if not barely just outside. There's not really much to these. I'm just kind of going to go down the list. I don't need to break. We don't think we need to break them down, any more than we already have. Let
No,
me see here.
I've got two I can break down real quick.
You can go ahead if you're. Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So, I was hoping you weren't going to talk about Georgia Tech, but yeah, Georgia Tech we're high on this year. I will talk about them even more in a little bit. Florida, high on Missouri, high on TCU, high on Baylor, high on. Um, and then the two that I've got, I have Nebraska. Um, Now maybe thinking to yourself, Nebraska, yes, Nebraska. So if you don't know about Matt Rule, their head coach, in year 3 of Matt Rule, he has had double-digit wins at the last two places he's been at, which would be Baylor and Temple. At Baylor, they were I want to say 7-6 the year before in year 2, jumped up to 10-3. At Temple, same thing, roughly the same numbers. So we are in year 3 at Nebraska now. Dylan Raiola, third year or second year in the system. I like the additions they made for the weapons around him. So
what about the Panthers?
They didn't give him a third year. So how are we gonna know?
Good answer. Good answer.
Um, and then my last one is James Madison. Um, like we'll get a little group of five, a group of six talk in here. We don't have to be all Power Five. I like James
No,
Madison
I
this
got a
year.
couple. Yeah.
I know you do. I think they should win the Sun Belt. I don't want to say going away, but I think they're the best team in there. I think they can battle for a playoff spot. They just didn't lose a lot. Like they just kind of stayed the same this year, which I like. The schedule sets up pretty well. I think they get I want to say NC State to start the year. I can't remember if that's correct. And then Liberty are their two like toughest games. And then after that, I think if they can get through the Sun Belt with one loss, maybe even undefeated, you could be looking at an 11-1 or 12-0 JMU. It's very possible.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think an SBC playoff team would be really fun to have, honestly.
I think this is the year to do it too, with JMU not losing a lot.
Right. I agree. It wouldn't be a bad reach. Um, for my dark horses and contenders, I mean, pretty much you could basically just say it's like 16 through 25 of my poll.
Oh,
I have
yeah,
Miami.
correct.
I have Florida. I have South Carolina. I have Texas Tech, TCU, Oklahoma, Illinois, Georgia Tech, Baylor and Kansas State, which we've all pretty much gone over already. I know Baylor and Kansas State, I put a slash in between these two. Now, Kansas State travels to Baylor in the like early October. I think it's one of the earlier conference play games that goes on. This game, I think, pretty much decides who is pretty much in slash out of the race for the Big 12 championship at that point, in my opinion, honestly. That's a really big turning point in that conference play.
October 4th.
Yeah. It would be a really good game, I think. I mean, Baylor's not necessarily. I'm not going to act like it's one of the toughest places to play, but I mean, I can imagine that being probably like a 3:30, maybe like a 6:30 kickoff time. So I mean, that point. I mean, I don't want to say that place is going to be decently high atmosphere, depending on how Baylor's season is going at that point. So
Yeah.
that would be kind of a fun one to kind of determine who is pretty much looking in and out. I do have SMU as a contender again. Like I said, I can never count out their offense. I just don't think I can necessarily ever say that they're out at that point. After that debut season, I'm pretty much, I don't want to say I'm all in on it, but I really like where that team's at. I do have three group of fives. I have two listed on here. My group of five dark horse that I have is I have UNLV out of the Mountain West. I reason being that I kind of have them flip flopped with Boise is a matter of QB play and offense as a whole. Boise State, it feels like they've lost their entire offense with Genty. I don't necessarily think they're going to be god awful, but I just think UNLV this year in particular is better. I know that they actually do visit Boise State, I think, later in the year. But in my opinion, I think UNLV has a better schedule compared to Boise State's. Boise State, obviously, going to Notre Dame. They do get a couple of tough draws on their end. Let me see if I can find. I know Boise has like a good amount, I think, of returning production, despite losing Genty. But I mean, man, UNLV's non-conference, I guess you should say. Like they go to Miami, Ohio. They get UCLA at home, which I think is a great draw. At Sam Houston State, and then obviously Idaho State, which I think that's like FC, but whatever at that point.
It's a week 0 game.
I just think a lot of their conference games are pretty good draws, in my opinion. I know they open at Wyoming, Air Force at home, New Mexico at home, Utah State at home, Hawaii at home. In terms of travel, it's kind of easy on them in a way because they're only going to Nevada, Colorado State, Boise State. It's not that bad. Like there's like their worst game in here that is a potential. Like honestly, it looks like a 9-3, 10-2. And like obviously when we seen last year, there was this pretty much group of five playoff spot was pretty much decided between like UNLV and Boise State and their conference championship and in that regular season game. Fortunately, obviously, they didn't get it at that point, but like I said, it's kind of up in the air. And as I was saying before, I had another group of five, but it is in my futures. So, do you want me to go with my futures first, or do you want to go with?
Yeah, again. All right, moving on to our futures, our 10 best, roughly 10 best futures of this year. Um, we are going to kick it off, obviously, with me. And my number one future, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Georgia Tech to win the ACC at plus 1500 and over 7.5 at minus 140. Little dual bet we have here. Reason being, 18th in returning production this year, which includes the dual Haynes backfield, Jamal Haynes and Haynes King. Um, the reason we're here right now is you're looking at this and you say, well, they were 7-5. They were 7-5 because of the injuries that they got to their best players all year. You had Haynes King, who missed 2 games, in which they lose 2 games. He comes back and he can't throw a pass over 8 yards. And then not only are they returning a bunch of production, hopefully injury luck is on their side. You get Clemson early. I want to say it's week 3 or week 4, and it's at home. You do not play Miami, SMU, or Louisville, the 3 of the top 4 in the ACC odds, and no back-to-back road games this year. So really like Georgia Tech. I really think we could get a 10-2 type season, and we could get, with tiebreakers, could possibly get in the ACC championship game. So really, really like Georgia Tech. Um, my next one is Clemson to win the Natty. Um, number one in returning production this year. Klubnik could possibly be the best quarterback in the country. Probably he might be right now, but I would say that it's between him and Nussmeier and Aller, and with how their offense is, it all revolves around him. So I think if they're gonna win the Natty, it's gonna be because of Cade Klubnik. Their top 3 wide receivers returned this year. They were top 30 in offense and defense last year, according to SP Plus. The only problem we're going to have this year is they've got some tough road games. We're at SMU, we're at Louisville, we're at South Carolina, we're at Georgia Tech. Don't love those. The good thing is all we have to do is win. We either have to win the ACC or we just have to be 10-2 or 11-1 and we'll make the playoff. The best part about the schedule is there's no cold weather trips, and if they make the ACC championship game, it's a home game. No, it's Charlotte. Everyone roots for Clemson there.
Pretty much.
Um, Sticking to the ACC, I did do this by conference, so no one gets confused. I have SMU over 8.5 wins at minus 120. The Clemson bet was plus 2,000. I think it's around what do we say, plus 1,200 now, something like that.
I think so. Is it ballpark, whatever?
I would still take it at plus 1,200. SMU, I have over 8.5 wins at minus 120. Top 50 in returning production. Kevin Jennings is in year 2 now of starting, and this will be his first full year of starting. He gets a full off season being the starter, which I think is huge. Top 30 on both sides of the balls last year as well, as Clemson was. Your tough road games this year at Clemson and at TCU. So not great there, but that's only 2 losses. Your other tough, then you get Stanford and Cal this year. So 2 of the bottom teams in the ACC, which is helpful with your wins. And then the other 2 tough games you have in the ACC, Miami and Louisville, you really just need to split them if you lost the first 2. And even then, you could just win one. Or sorry, you can't lose both 2. You can split them. You just need to split them. You need to split Miami and Louisville.
To Stanford and Cal?
No, they'll travel to one or the other. I don't remember which one. I'd have to look.
I was going to say, I thought there was some rowing in the ACC, where they only go to one.
Yeah, they only go to one.
I was going to say,
just that, Cal and Stanford have to go to multiple.
I was going to say, I did not know that. I was like, oh my god.
No, so yeah, I think one of them's on the road, one of them's at home, which is helpful. And then you just have to win one of Miami or Louisville if you lost to TCU. So, I like SMU. I think they're better than 8 wins. I think they're a 9-3 team this year. Um, I have Virginia under 6.5, -134. They're 5-7 last year. Um, both sides of the ball were below the top 80 in SP plus. Somehow they are top 35 in returning production. I don't think it matters. They
Not
aren't a good
really.
they aren't a good team. The only problem we are going to have with this win total is their schedule is so easy. They avoid Clemson, they avoid Miami, they avoid SMU. Their road games are tough. They're at Duke, at UNC, at Louisville, at NC State. Those are four tough road games. They open with Coastal, which is a tough. That's not an easy Group of Five team. They're feisty. They're not as good as they were the past couple years, but I think they're still gonna be decent, and you can't overlook them. And then the question is just gonna be, can they beat Wake Forest? I think so, but can they beat Virginia Tech and Washington State at home? Washington State's gonna be pretty good this year, and I think Virginia Tech will be as well. So I think I think the under's the play. They could make a bowl and this still hit at 6-6. I still view it as a 5-7 year again, and I think Tony Elliott's gone. Next future bet we have is Arkansas under 5.5 at -115. I feel bad for Arkansas fans. This is not going to be a fun year for you guys. Um, they were murdered by the transfer portal, like destroyed. They lost all four of their wide receivers, their top four. Their entire secondary minus Singletary, their starting corner, is gone. Tylen's back. Woo, awesome. Um, he can't carry this team. I don't even their offensive line hasn't been good in 5 years, which is Sam Pittman's calling card. They haven't been good, so they're probably not gonna be able to run the ball, which means you're not gonna be able to throw the ball. Um, and it's really not even about the team. This schedule sucks. Um, you have not only do you play Notre Dame at home at 11, you have Memphis, who is a great American Group of Five team. Like that is a good team. Um, So maybe you win that one. You still have to go to at Ole Miss, at Tennessee, at LSU, at Texas. Not to mention, they also played Missouri, A&M, and Auburn at home. They're they may not win 4 games. I think they could maybe get to 5. So I think the under 5.5. I think it's a lock. It's my favorite bet of the year. Um, I would, if it's still at 5.5, I would lock that in immediately. My next bet is TCU over 6.5 at -120. This team's a good team. 9-4 last year, surprisingly. I think a lot of people slept on this team. Um, and we're very surprised because everyone saw Arizona State and Arizona State winning, what was it, their last 5 games and being the talking point of the Big
Yeah.
12. TCU did about the same thing and just went 9-4 because they sucked at the start of the year. They're top 50 in returning production. I think Hoover is a really good quarterback, and he took a lot of strides towards the end of the year last year. They kept the same head coach and offensive coordinator. Love Sonny Dykes. They were top 40 in SP plus on both sides of the ball last year. We like teams that are very equal when it comes to offense and defense. Um, they have a tough schedule, so non-con, UNC, and SMU. Those are some tough games. 3 tough road games at Arizona State, at Kansas State, and at BYU. We don't know about BYU anymore. Could go either way. But you get Colorado, Baylor, Iowa State, and Cincinnati at home. I think they'll either be favored or very slight underdogs in all 4 of those games. And then your 2 other road trips are at Houston, West Virginia. Those should be very winnable games. So I think it's a 7-win team at the very least. I think there's an opportunity to get some upsets as well. The schedule's front loaded. And then I think there's some hedge opportunities here with Iowa State or the BYU game if you need to. Um, here's here's all right.
Can we get a drum roll soundboard?
We do. We need to get that. All right. It's time to talk about Tennessee. I don't
Under.
know who it was in the Discord that had the under, I respect you. I'll be honest. I don't mind it. However, completely going the opposite way. I've got Tennessee to win the SEC at plus 1400. It's gone up. It's at plus 2000 now on a book that I saw. So if you want to grab that, go ahead and grab that. I also have the over 8.5 at minus 110. You can call me a homer if you would like. It is completely fair. This team is questionable. There are some very big questions that are going to have to be answered. Specifically, Joey Aguilar, Jake Merklinger, or um, George McIntyre. Those are your three quarterbacks. There are going to be questions there. Offensive line, lost three starters. You're replacing your right tackle with a true freshman. Your left tackle wasn't very good last year, and he comes back. So, is there improvement there with replacing three guys that were really good, especially your center, who kind of makes this team go? And then wide receiver, you didn't lose anybody, but are they just better? You lose Dante Thornton, but he was okay. You lose Squirrel White, hurt, wasn't super good. You replace him with You bring Brazel back. You replace him with Mike Matthews, a very talented 5-star that is
Huge.
now going to get to play. Um, and then you have the third wide receiver is going to be the question: is it a young guy that they've developed? Is it Amari Jefferson, who transferred from Alabama? Um, Questions there. Then I think that's the big question: is who's the third wide receiver, and can Joey depend on it if it is Joey? Um, not the problem. The best part, I trust Josh Heupel. Um, he calls the plays. He is the mastermind of the offense. I think it looked really bad last year at times, mostly because of the quarterback and the wide receivers. We'll see if that can be changed, but I do trust Heupel. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. Um, the defense returned 7 of 11 starters, and the defense was top 30 last year. So, could it get to top 15? Can it get to top 10?
Dude's a
The
gamer.
corners are the corners are going to be really good. They probably have the best cornerback group in the SEC. Javon McCoy. I don't think it's crazy. I mean, Javon
Honestly,
McCoy is going to
that's
be the
really
number one corner off the board. Ricky Gibson is super good. And then they got Colton Hood, the transfer from Colorado,
it's like
who,
potential probably like first round and maybe second round, third round even.
yeah,
Probably not.
and
Probably
had
first
a
and second round picks.
QBs throwing at him last year at a 51 QBR. So got three great corners. Plus, you still have Boo Carter in the slot. So like it there. And then the big reason I'm playing this is the schedule. The non-cons is really easy. You've got three bye games and then Syracuse to open. It's in Atlanta. It's gonna be a home game. Um, they might win it by 30. They'll probably just run the ball a ton. You get Vandy, Arkansas, and Mississippi State, three of the worst teams in the SEC. I know we lost to Arkansas last year. You don't have to remind me. It's at home this time. So I think that gets you to 7. And then the reason I looked into this, because at first I didn't want to touch this, and I looked into the opponent's schedules. And so you play Florida on the road, but it's the week after they play Ole Miss and the week before they play Florida State. It's just a weird, quirky schedule thing. So I don't mind it. I don't. They haven't won in Florida since 2007. I'm not saying they're going to do it. Just saying it's a weird scheduling quirk. Georgia in week 3. What is Georgia at that point? We will have no idea. So, and it's at home. I think that's helpful.
I'm honestly, yeah, I was gonna say, if anything, that falls in your guys' favor tremendously.
Exactly. Alabama game, also on the road in Tuscaloosa, is in between them traveling to Missouri and then the next week traveling to South Carolina. Another really weird scheduling quirk. Once again, not saying that they're going to win it, but it's just a weird. It's weird how that's working in their favor. And then the biggest reason, Oklahoma at home the week after they play Ole Miss. Not to mention, I think it's 3 weeks after they've played Texas. It's in this gauntlet of games that they play in the back half of their schedule. You have to win one of Florida, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Georgia to go 9-3, and that gets you over the win total. So That's my reason. I'm a homer. I'm sorry. We're going with that. And then I've got two more. I've got Stanford under 3.5 at -120. Under 3.5 is a crazy line to bet normally, but they're not good. They're really bad. They somehow are top 30 in returning production. I had no idea. I thought they'd lost everybody. Apparently they didn't. But they did lose their two best players. Their quarterback and Alec Ayumanner, who got drafted by the Titans, basically carried them the last 2 years. If you are a ball knower, you remember Ayumanner absolutely destroying Travis Hunter for 300 yards
Oh
and
my god,
about three touchdowns 2 years ago. Um, but
that was satisfying to watch.
they're bottom 40 in offense, and they were bottom 40 in offense and defense last year. So, I don't see them having much improvement. They're at BYU this year. They play Hawaii in week 0 at Hawaii, I think. Doesn't sound very fun. They play SMU, Miami, UNC, Notre Dame, and Florida State. And then they play San Jose State out of conference, who they lost to last year. So, can they win two conference games? I highly doubt it. And not to mention, they fired their coach 2 months ago after a recruiting class, after the transfer portal window closed, and hired Frank Reich, who I think's a good coach, but has never coached in college football, ever. I looked it up. He's never been a coach. He's only been in the NFL. So and he's an interim. He's not the normal coach. Do these guys want to play for him? I don't. It's a really weird situation. I just see them going 3-9 again, maybe winning one ACC game that they just kind of eke out somehow. Returning your two best players and the only two players that were really good, I just have a hard time seeing.
Fair point.
And then the last one, this is going to contradict Cade, so I'm sorry.
In a
I
way, I mean,
it,
yeah, but no.
kind of. I have Boise to make the playoff. It's plus 198 on FanDuel when I got it. Don't know what it is now. I'm kind of confused as to why this is as high as it is. I know it's not like a crazy number like 300 or anything, but Kate alluded to it a little bit. They're top 15 in returning production. I understand that Ashton Genty was really, really good and was a top 5 pick and was pretty much their entire offense. Here's the thing. They have 3 new running backs that are all pretty good. They're not Ashton Genty good, but they're really good. Also, Maddox Madsen's back. Their tight end's a beast. I
Very.
see them. I see them potentially throwing the ball more, but they may not have to. Um, I just don't think the conference is very good outside of Boise, UNLV, and San Jose State. Um, SP Plus gives them a 37% chance to make the title game and the same percentage to win 11 games. If they go 11-1, they're making the playoff. The next closest to winning the um, Mountain West is UNLV at 12%. So we're at a 25% gap. It's pretty big. Um, they have 3 tough games at USF to start the year, which is interesting. We have no idea what USF's going to be this year with what they've replaced. So traveling to Florida doesn't sound very fun in August, but I feel like they can eke that out, at the very least win it. Um, at Notre Dame, Cade mentioned that's going to be a loss. As much as it would be really cool if they won.
That would
Um,
be insane.
but it's a good,
Never mind. Never mind.
it's just a good barometer to see where Boise's at, because if we watched Boise last year, they had no chance. Are they better this year? Would be my question. And then UNLV's at home. You avoid San Jose State, and the next best team is Fresno. You get at home. You get really good home games. I don't think a G6 team is going to go undefeated this year. You may get Liberty, but even if Liberty goes undefeated, I don't think they make the playoff because their schedule is literally last in the country. So if Boise's 11-1, maybe 10-2, I think they win it, or not win it, but I think they make the playoff. recency bias. They've been good for 20 years. I just see an 11-1 or 10-2 team if they win the Mountain West getting in. So Boise plus 198.
I do like the price on it though. I mean, I would, if anything, if you were betting that bet, if you were betting that, my sole reason would be the price before anything.
And
So
if they make the Mountain West with one loss, you hedge it.
yeah, it's easy. Yeah, you literally just take that.
Yep.
That's not rocket science there. I agree. I mean, yeah, I think we roughly had like the same amount of futures.
I think it was, yeah.
Just kind of briefly go over these. I think a lot of these I do have in my top 25 already as is, but well, not really actually. Now I look at it. Anyways, start out. I have Texas Tech's over 8.5 at plus 125. I posted this in the Discord when I made the bet originally back in April with another bet that I have that I will go over with at the end. I love Leftwich as a coordinator. He's been amazing. This defense obviously is going to be amazing. We kind of seen that last year, but the returning production there is basically the main thing, especially after the portal. Fourth overall returning production, first on the defensive side alone. In my opinion, Joyner definitely has 1,000-yard potential. Ramel Height had 10 tackles for loss last season. I think it was last season he had 10 for loss. It might have been combined with like the last two, but
No, it was last year.
okay, that's to say like it's just the edge rushers on this team they're incredible. They have a joke of a non-conference schedule. I think I don't necessarily want to call it necessarily like upset alert, but I mean they do have some tougher games in a way that are kind of like some swing games that will determine this. With Arizona State, Kansas State, and then they have Utah. Pretty much all they need to do is win one of these games, and you're pretty much all set as long as they
They
don't collapse.
they honestly could lose those three and just beat BYU at home and you get 9.
Or that, yeah, quite, yeah.
But yeah, I agree.
I think it's one of the easier totals that I had. I'm not sure what it's at now. I might be still 8.5. It just might be a little bit juiced. But for plus 125, I think that was at a fantastic price. And like I said, I got that one back in April, so it's definitely price has probably moved, if not a little bit juiced there. Next one, similar to your stance, I do like Ole Miss this year. I don't necessarily think that they're an SEC type contender, but their schedule helps them a ton. They don't have Bama. They don't get Texas. However, they do get Florida, LSU, and South Carolina. They are all at home.
Georgia's on the road, right?
What's that?
Georgia's on the road, right?
I believe so, yes, since they got them at home last year. That alone, though, getting those three teams at home is already a very, 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 very sigh of relief. Non-conference, obviously, they kind of take the edge off there with Tulane. Obviously, they lost their QB in Mensa, as well as Finley, which was at Duke. So playing both of those, Kiffin's pretty much worked his magic in the portal. They've already shown that they can win the big games. Now all they have to do is pretty much just repeat. I did get it at some juice at minus 155, but I do think it's worth it. At least until like 160s range is probably win, but I'm not sure what it's at now. But
Yeah.
either way, I like the number 8. I like the number
Yeah.
8.
Yeah. The last 3 out of the last 4 years, Kiffin has gone over the win total of 8.
Yeah, I love that. I love to hear that. And like, not to mention Austin Simmons again. Like he's not necessarily a carbon copy of Jackson Dart, but very electrifying QB, very mobile, definite dual threat, and a very
Mhm.
fun offense.
Good.
The next one is LSU's win total paired with to win the Natty. Not necessarily like a parlay or anything like that. I don't do free. I don't even know if you can do that, but separate bets. 8.5 win total to win the Natty. Natty, I have it 19-1. Win total for like I said, 8.5 is kind of nuts. pretty much besides opening at Clemson, going into Oxford, going into Tuscaloosa and Norman. Schedule is pretty rough, not gonna lie. But for the price of it and the talent that's on this team, I think it's definitely worth the dabble in. Even with Brian Kelly, like I said, as much as I kind of don't necessarily like him, he finds a way to kind of win these games. And with a veteran quarterback like Garrett, I think that he can kind of stay composed, especially in these environments. And potentially, I mean, like, this is what I was kind of thinking in my mind, but I mean, like, could LSU, depending on their wins and like power ranking in terms of wins, if they're a 3-loss team, I mean, is there like a realm where we kind of see the first 3-loss team make the college football playoff? That might be this team, if anything. It's a very good possibility.
It all depends on who you lose to.
Exactly. Next one is another low win total, but I do like this one a lot. I kind of had to dig into my bag for this one a little bit. Northwestern. I took their over 3.5 win total at -330. Northwestern, they've had 5 losing seasons, including the most recent being just last year.
Wait, ever?
No, like consecutively.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Read that so wrong.
Ever. Oh, dude, that would have been. Yeah.
That'd be crazy. I was like, what?
No, that's just since the playoff era.
Best
Like,
program
like
ever?
2012. What would that be? No, it's not 2012. 2014. That was when the playoffs started, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
2014.
Yeah. 5 losing seasons in basically the last like 10 years. I guess like just splitting it right down the middle, 5 losing, 5 winning, whatever. Northwestern, I found this trend, which is crazy. They have bounced back in their past their win total the following season 3 times out of the 4 coming off a losing season. Pretty much that alone gives me the background all that I need. And looking at 3.5 here, I'm like, just see green light, dude. You know what I mean? I'm taking
But
that.
Preston Stone.
But defense.
I mean, fair point. I don't. I'm going to point out
Go
just real
ahead.
quick. I do have the under on this.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
Cash out,
I
Jeff.
didn't put it. I didn't put it. I
Cash
didn't put it because I didn't want to. I didn't want to do that. Um,
This is funny.
the only reason I have it is because, um, just to go a little devil's advocate, is I think they can beat Purdue, so I think we're winning. We're definitely winning a Big Ten game this year. I just like, yeah, they'll beat ULM, they'll beat Western Illinois. It just comes down to can they beat Tulane on the road week 1 and can they beat UCLA at home? And I'm taking the 50-50 that they don't. I think it's a 50-50. I think
Regardless,
if you
yeah.
if you can get a good price on it at over 3.5, I do like it. I just like the price I got it under. So,
I'm
but
curious, what did you get it at?
let me check.
Because if I got -130, I'm going to be pissed if yours is like plus
I think
one.
I want to say mine's plus money.
It's got to be plus money.
Plus 130.
Oof. So what a just complete polar opposite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't hate it though. I think like at the end of the day, with our win totals and what we're doing right here, there are hedge opportunities
Yeah.
almost
All
at
day.
every
Every
game.
week. Every
Yeah.
week. Yeah. And granted, I'm not going to like post into my action and track it and be like, yeah, I'm
But
taking it solely because I have so and so's win
yeah.
total. That's just like, I'm not going to actively track whatever. You know what I mean? That's just
Yeah, but we
me.
will be better this year about like letting you guys know our futures and why we're hedging or if we're hedging them and
That's
if
why
we're
we're
not.
doing this so early because I mean, I feel like if we waited any longer, half these lines are already long gone. If we waited any longer, they're going to be even worse next week or maybe the week
Yeah.
after. Because all these
Agreed.
influencers and guys are releasing their podcasts and shows and futures and lists and whatnot
Yep.
this week and like next week. So yeah, it's just I thought it was good timing.
Yep.
I'm down to my last 4, and then we'll get out of here. I have Cal under 5.5. Losing Mendoza there was a pretty decent loss there. I like obviously they I don't think they would be happy about that one. Um, and then next thing you know, you replace him with Devin Brown.
Oof.
So that's just not a good that's not a good draw there. Not to
No.
mention, obviously they lose Hunter, they lose Jaden Ott. All of them are gone. So now they have the sixth most miles traveled this season in all of Division One FBS football. It's not a good schedule in terms of travel there.
Oof.
In terms of people who they've got, I don't see 6 wins on the schedule. I don't see this team being bowl eligible in the slightest.
It's hard to see it. I
I just
agree.
not really in. Um, but yeah, calendar 5.5. Next one is another one where I kind of had to get in my bag a little bit here. I love the fact of seeing a group of five playoff team. Obviously, I know we had a Mountain West in that spot last year. I think it is an American team this year, and that American team is the Roadrunners. I'll take UTSA to make college football playoff at plus 1400, and here's why. Okay. Trailer and his staff that he has put together um, over the last over it's been over a course of a few years now. Like he's had this group here for a very long time. They've been very loyal to the program,
Can't believe it.
and the staff alone has been the face of this program since COVID era essentially. They have some of the best coordinators in the conference. They're returning 75% of their production of their offense alone, which by far their offense has been pretty much the best part of their team in the last like 3 seasons, if I'm not wrong. Uh, in my opinion, and from like models perspective and stuff like that, we ran a couple of projections. UTSA is going to be favored in at least 10 minimum of their games this year. If they can somehow manage to win the 11, and if they're 11-1 and they win their and they win the American, which I probably I didn't look into betting them to win the American yet. I just like the price that I had for plus 1400 on them to make the playoff. But I mean, in reality, I guess you kind of could if you had this one. I said I like the chances of them being 11-1 more so than 10-2, in my opinion. I said like the swing games that like you're pretty much looking at in that realm in a way. Excuse me. Obviously, they get at Kyle Field very first week of the season. And then at that point, you're getting Texas State at home, which Texas State at that point, they're not necessarily a bad team. That's a very challenging team. Texas State has an electric offense. They've been phenomenal.
They do. They run the ball well.
But in terms of like maybe non-conference again, I know they have Colorado State. Colorado State on the road, for that matter. That's going to be probably the swing game that everybody's pretty much talking about here in that matter. In my opinion, that's kind of the game that separates them between 10-2 to 11-1, because there's a decent chance that they really could go undefeated in conference play. Is that an outrageous statement? I really don't think so. In terms of like per game stats, I know they ranked almost top 10 in passing yards per game last year. They averaged 30, like nearly 30. Their issue is the defense. We can come out and say that now pretty much, because they were almost letting up 25 plus per game, but their offense was always putting up 30s last year, every game. So they were putting up, I think it was like, the other day, 31 point something, I think, and then allowing 29 point something. It's so, I mean, if they just figure out some kinks on defense and their offense stays clicking, I genuinely think that we could see a one-loss UTSA make the playoff, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Yeah.
And it's just a general possibility. So
They're plus 500 to win the American. And then I'll give you a stat. I'll give you two stats. UTSA came into the FBS level in 2012. They have more winning seasons than losing seasons since becoming an FBS team.
Oh yeah.
In 13 years, they're 7-6 to the winning. And then the other stat I have is Jeff Traylor is the only coach in UTSA history to win double-digit games. He did it twice.
It's the things that we love to hear there. You know what I mean? So
So
if that
I
makes
do like
you
it. And their quarterback coming back, McCown, is big.
massive. Like I said, like it's like the biggest piece of their offense, and he, yeah, like drawing him
Yeah.
back was amazing,
Great.
as well as their wide receiver weapons on the outside as well. They're one of the issues. I think they had majority of their departures were in their O line, where I think they lost 2 out of the 3, or 2 out of the 5, or 3 out of the 5. One of the two, I forget.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like I said, very very lucky draws in terms of portaling there and draft. Next one I have is Washington. I have Washington to make the college football playoff at plus 950. Now, to me, in my personal opinion, with this team, it could be one of the bigger question marks in the Big Ten, in my opinion. Um, there is some serious questions behind Demon Williams. There is some serious Heisman candidacy behind Demon Williams as well. Is it seriously that far of a reach to kind of say that he honestly has potential to just completely break out and have the season of a lifetime? I don't know. But he checks all the boxes for me, in my opinion. And not to mention, you have him and Jonah Coleman, veteran running back, phenomenal Arizona, comes to Washington in his first year, does fantastic, loved him. But Williams, I mean, he can hit you on the run. He has the athleticism to pretty much run for like 500 yards in a season. Obviously, making these highlight reels with his legs, or he has the accuracy of freaking like Aaron Rodgers with a dart and just like thread needles night and like all the time. And he pretty much did it. We saw it in the bowl game against Louisville last year. It was a perfect example.
Yeah.
370 yards. He was fantastic. That was a fun game to watch. And naturally he has extremely underrated weapons next to him. Denzel Boston, huge wide receiver, 6'4", fantastic. Not Roma Dunze or like Jalen Polk or anything like that. Weapon. But he had 9 touchdowns last year in the first 7 games.
Okay.
First 7, all right?
That sounds pretty good.
So, and obviously Jonah Coleman ran for over 1,000 last year. 10 touchdowns. Fantastic running back, like I've already said. Finally, obviously, they're returning 3 of their starting linemen from a unit that pretty much finished 29th nationally in line yards, and then they added Kansas State's transfer, and then I'm pretty sure he was like one of the most sought after or like targeted linemen in the portal last year, and they managed to land him. So ultimately, that was massive. Ultimately, if that offensive side of the ball pretty much comes together, they could find themselves within the top 4 of the Big Ten, within Ohio State, Penn State, Oregon. Who's that 4th guy? I'm going Washington within the 4th there, honestly. And then obviously in terms of coaching, I love Jed Fish. I'm probably one of the biggest Jed Fish supporters. We do not tolerate that kind of hate in this pod of the
No
server.
slander to Jed Fish will be allowed.
So I mean, honestly, if anything, Williams and Fish are going to be gelling together perfectly. I love them two together. And
Great.
obviously, you look at Jed Fish and what he did with Noah Fafita. And that's what I think when I look at Demon Williams, in all honesty. I love
Yeah.
it together with him. He's got a similar build. I mean, Fafita's mobile, kind of a dual threat, but can really sling the ball whenever he wants to. But I mean, the schedule, even then, I mean, you have a perfect schedule in that sense to pretty much make the playoff. I mean, I know have their win total at 7.5 at plus 116. They have a little bit of little bit of a roadblock road trip to Michigan. But then again, like I said, what can Bryce do in there? But I mean, a 9 or a 10 win season is not even that much of a reach when I look at the schedule. Honestly, um, I I
No.
I love the bet for 7.5, much less the playoff, because I don't necessarily think they can win the Big Ten. But like I said, I love drawing Ohio State at home. I think they get Ohio State at home.
Yep.
It's literally just a matter of, I don't know. I think the win total is the easiest part about this bet by far. It's just the playoff part that I'm kind of like, they have a shot, but it's all going to determine on how well this offense comes together, which will be interesting to watch.
Not to mention Oregon last game of the season at home.
Very, very, very big draw as well. Rivalry too. I love that. Game's always fun.
Yeah, that'll be a huge environment. That'll be awesome to watch.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. I know I have a couple more futures here. I didn't even see. I thought I was honestly done. I'm not gonna lie. Whoops. Let me see. These next ones are funny compared to what we talked about earlier. Um, I have South Carolina to win the SEC and to make the college football playoff in a live bet. Okay. You got to listen on this one. This is going to be hard to kind of grasp. Okay. Obviously, like I've been saying pretty much this entire episode, is that Sellers is obviously due for a breakout season. We've all pretty much been praying for it. We've all dreamed for it. We kind of saw the preview to it last year. If they lose 1 to 2 games before Halloween, before October, before the end of October, I'm going to expect some of these odds to pretty much just like go Elon Musk, SpaceX, spaceship type stuff. Like, it's going to be nuts. All right. And then when it comes to fall ball, aka Beaver ball, it comes out. They upset 3 top 10 teams in November in the last 3 seasons. Okay.
Two of them are Clemson.
That far of a reach. It is not that far of a reach. In terms of maybe winning the SEC, sure, might be a little bit of one, but to make the playoff, not at all. I love the changes there. In terms of the price that we might get, I don't know. Now, next one I have Texas, on the other hand, also a live bet to win the SEC or make the college football playoff. This is when we kind of dabble into the ifs and the ins and the outs. Okay. So as for Texas, intense schedule, especially from the get go. On the road, in the shoe, playing Oklahoma, going to Florida, going to Georgia. It's basically all on Arch and how he handles this pressure in terms of if they get rattled early, they might be in trouble. But then again, if they lose that Ohio State game, there's a chance that we might see the make the playoff odds kind of jump up a tad. And then if by potential, if they somehow manage to drop an SEC game here and there, you can always take them to win the SEC again.
Might be worth waiting until after that Florida game.
That's what I was
It's
going
the
to say.
first
Anytime
weekend of October.
exactly, yeah, same timeline basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not necessarily that far of a reach for them to. I mean, make the playoff odds might be kind of down a little bit, maybe more so. But I mean, if I can get anything from like minus, like I'd say, what, like minus 130 even,
I mean, I think if you could even get to like 160,
you would take
I
it
think,
that much.
yeah, I'd take 160. I mean, 130 would be awesome. I don't know if we're ever going to touch that unless they're dead.
I mean, it depends on. It really just depends on like how they look. I think if they get blown
Yeah,
the shoes off in the shoe week 1, and it's just bad.
I'd
You,
grab it there if they
yeah,
get destroyed. I'd
exactly,
grab it there. If it's
exactly.
a close game, I'd wait until they potentially drop another one. Agreed.
So it's really just going to be based off a timeline for me personally, but that's kind of where I stand with them. My second to last one I have is going to make a lot of you upset, and I'm perfectly fine with that because it's a great bet. Oh God, it's a great bet. Texas Penn State, Michigan. All three of those teams you could lose to. I'm not going to say what the bet is yet because I'm going to give it a little bit to kind of sink in.
Do you want to throw Illinois in there?
You can throw Illinois in there. Some of these dark horse teams that are really going to mess you up: Washington, Wisconsin.
At Washington, yeah.
Which all of these teams, yeah, Washington, Illinois, Wisconsin, you're all getting them on the road in a span of 4 weeks. You've cleaned house of staff, not necessarily cleaned house, but all of them have kind of left. Completely rebuilt the offense besides your wide receiver core. And you're 101st in total returning production. There is a ton of red flags here. Now you're hearing this and you're like, oh my God, yeah, there's no way this team makes the playoff, right? There's no shot. There's no way they can bounce back after winning a national championship last year, getting a brand new quarterback, getting 2 running backs taken away from you. Ohio State's missing the playoff, plus 245. You can take it or leave it with a grain of salt. I don't care. It's going to happen. And you're going to laugh as I'm going through everything. But I'm telling you right now, Ryan Day might lose the mission again, and it's going to blow the head gasket off of this team. Just saying.
Nice.
Just saying. I really wish Dylan was here for that.
It's kind of a shame that he's not, but
it's okay.
We'll
circle back next week.
I'll add on, if they lose that Texas game, it really could be a possibility. Because you've got to beat Texas. That's at home, week 1. So yeah, Penn State at home is cool, and I know James Franklin doesn't win big games, but that Penn State team's different. So I don't think it's the craziest thing in the world.
I don't know. I just make good.
I like
the value.
I like the value on it for sure. Plus 245 is.
You kind of have to. Yeah.
Yeah. With a brand new running game and quarterback, and that defense it's got talent, but it's unproven.
Right. I get it. My last one, which I think it might be my favorite out of all of these. I love all my futures, honestly. I really do. But this one, in my opinion, I think is probably in terms of win total. It gets up there with Texas Tech. Utah over 7.5 plus 116. Kind of slashing that with winning the Big 12 at 10-1. Dampier, the addition of him at quarterback with Jason Beck is going to electrify this offense compared to last season. I think it's going to be completely night and day. I think the majority of the conference games are at home, with significant dark horses obviously being Texas Tech, Kansas State, Arizona State. I think the defense does its job. Kyle Whittingham pretty much manages to have his defenses ready in all these kind of games. They've always been I want to know you want to call it that side of the ball is something you can always pretty much rely on, though, in a way.
Very prepared.
Right. There's always some possible regression, though. Obviously, the defense has been great for quite some time now. I don't necessarily expect them to kind of keep on the rise. I kind of see a slight dip, especially after some key departures. But I think with a very lucky drawn conference schedule, I think that they can touch 8 wins here with ease. In terms of winning the Big 12, I don't think it's necessarily that far of a reach. And as I said earlier, the last 3 or 4 Big 12 champs have been at 10-1 or higher. Is that correct?
I want to. Yes, I want to say it's longer than that now.
It was not that long ago. I forget. It was. I think we're.
I want to say the last 5 have done it.
That wouldn't be a reach either. Yeah, because Baylor with Oklahoma State, when Oklahoma State was like 11-1 that one year, and at the goal line stand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember. And then you had TCU the title year, and then 2 years ago you had Um, who won it 2 years ago? Utah.
Oh, Utah.
Utah won it 2 years ago. At plus, they were not even close. And then you had Arizona State last year. So yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't seem like that far of reach. Like I said, I love that future. It's probably one of my favorite ones in there. But in terms of everything, I mean, that's pretty much all we're going to go over for today. It was a decently lengthy first episode, but obviously we kind of wanted to give the breakdown of everything of where we stand for previews of the season. I know next week is going to be decently jam packed as well, but there's a lot of stuff you kind of got to go through in the terms of preseason. So there's going to be some conference breakdowns in terms of Power Four. We might have some more letdowns, possible letdowns and stuff like that. Maybe some bold predictions there. Conference champion matchup and winners. We'll have that in there. And then, so yeah, we'll be on the lookout that next week. That should be maybe up by, I want to say July 23rd, maybe July 22nd, I want to say. So that'll be episode 2. But for now, this is going to be pretty much it for week 1. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and hanging with us for the long run. I hope you like Jake. If not, deal with it. Dylan should be back with us next week. That's about all that we've got. So, I mean, if there's anything else that you want to say, I guess we'll kind of just get out of here.
I would like to make a note. TCU did not win the Big 12 championship 3 years ago. It was Kansas State. My bad.
Fair. That's
Other
fair.
than that, um, let's ride, guys. We're close. We're getting there.
No, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like I said, we have a lot of big things coming up in the coming weeks, even honestly. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be a more college football centered pod. So I'm very excited to kind of do what we pretty much know best in a way. Maybe not bet best, but we definitely kind of know. I like to know a little bit more about college football than the others. So yeah, we'll on skedaddle. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.